Welcome Trinidad and Tobago to our News 4 report, a product of the Government Information Services Limited and the Ministry of Communications. I'm Joseph Lopez. Let's take a look at the headlines. The date of the by-election for the vacant Chaguanas West seat has been set. Caribbean Investment Forum has gala closing. And the Ministry of Foreign Affairs' third annual Bridging Borders Through Art competition. In our top story, the date of the by-election for the vacant Chaguanas West seat has been declared. The election will take place on 46 days from today on July 29, 2013. Prime Minister Kamla Persad-Bissessar declared the date at the end of last parliamentary sitting. The seat has been vacant since former Member of Parliament for the constituency, Jack Warner, resigned effective midnight April 26, 2013. His seat, however, was not officially declared vacant in the House of Representatives till Friday, May 10, 2013, when the House met again. The date for the election was chosen following consultation with the Muslim community, as the election was expected to be held during the month of Ramadan. More than 26,000 persons are eligible to vote in the July 29, 2013 by-election. And in other news, the Ministry of Foreign Affairs hosted its third annual Bridging Borders Through Art competition, carried out at secondary schools across the nation. The competition is a spin-off from last year's 50th Independence Anniversary Art competition, which prompted a great response from the public. This year, the theme revolves around this country's role in CARICOM. As Foreign Affairs Minister Winston Dukaran says, the aim is to showcase this country's diplomatic strides over the years gone by to create awareness.
In 1973, Trinidad and Tobago joined in three of its regional neighbors, Barbados, Jamaica and Guyana, in the signing of the Treaty of Chaguaramas, signaling the establishment of the Caribbean Community, CARICOM. The body, which has grown to 15 members, has served as a single Caribbean organization under one umbrella and has witnessed numerous changes within the region. And while Trinidad and Tobago played a pivotal role in its early days, as its first Prime Minister, the late Dr. Eric Williams, laid the foundation for its establishment, this country's CARICOM involvement continues to grow. Capturing 40 years of Trinidad and Tobago's role in CARICOM integration was a centered theme in the Ministry of Foreign Affairs' third annual Diplomacy in Art competition. Secondary school students were invited to depict their perspective on Trinidad and Tobago's contribution in 2D and computer graphic art forms. As Foreign Affairs Minister Winston Dukaran explains, the competition is as a result of last year's one, put on in commemoration of the 50th Independence Anniversary. This year's, however, comes on the trend of keeping up the Ministry's International Relations Awareness Program.
The first thing we got to recognize is that what happens in the world outside us is equally important to our welfare as to what happens within our own country. And in this particular case, we are looking at the world outside us in the context of the Caribbean region and in context of what has happened to Caribbean integration. And therefore, students will become aware of the prospects and achievements of the Caribbean integration movement. And in so doing, identify with the personalities and the history that have brought us to where we are today, and at the same time, point towards the direction for the future. So in doing the exercise, in making their presentation, they would have covered all these thought processes and then reflected in the form of art.
Artwork submitted saw students' perspective on Trinidad and Tobago's role in promoting the CCJ, trade, culture, sports and food within the region. Minister Dukaran says the competition gives an indication of where citizens in Trinidad and Tobago view themselves positioned in the CARICOM neighborhood.
I think what is interesting is how each student as an artist view this whole issue of CARICOM.
Yes, they were able to bring.
And there's a kind of creativity is the word I was looking for when I was talking. I said innovation, but what I really was trying to do is kind of creativity. Right now we are considering a proposal at the foreign ministers meeting in Trinidad on the whole economy of the Caribbean Sea. And it's important to note that while Trinidad and Tobago has a population of 1.3 million, the Caribbean Sea has a population of 40 million people. And we are saying that we must now embrace that wider area, that wider space, as our space for economic activity and development.
Over 350 submissions from 62 schools were received by the ministry, but only 28 will take home prizes. To the minister, he hopes something greater will be taken away from the competition by each participant, the message of regional harmony through relations.
I was quite thrilled by what I saw a few days ago, and hence our invitation to you to come and share this with the wider community, because I felt that the art that was expressed was a genuine, innovative approach by the students. And we had judges who looked at it and have selected those who will, in fact, be given the highest honor. But everyone would have been given some form of participation. But by and large, I thought that the art reflected a kind of enthusiasm among the students in understanding foreign relations and in understanding this specific aspect of it.
These pieces will eventually be put on showcase at all 18 Trinidad and Tobago missions located across the globe. Kimberly Calawan, News 4.
After the break, CIF Gala closing. Stay with us. Welcome back. Business exercised tremendous power that has changed the lives of individuals, communities and nations for the better. This was the view expressed by Ben Cohen, co-founder of Ben & Jerry's Homemade Ice Cream, when he addressed the Caribbean Investment Forum CIF 2013 Gala Dinner at the Hilton Trinidad. Telling the audience of government ministers and business persons that he and his partner Jerry Greenfield recently co-authored a book outlining the success of their business. Cohen said the most powerful tool that business has at its command is its voice.
Inside of 2 months, we went from 50 accounts to 150 accounts. And after that, once we could show a track record at the small mom and pop shops, the local supermarkets started to try it out in some of their stores. And then once we had this positive sales story to tell, we were able to sell the ice cream.
Mr. Cohen explained that one potent lesson which he and Greenfield have learned since establishing their company in 1978 is that business is an incredibly powerful force.
And then finally, we were able to find a distributor in our first big city that we were going to enter, which was Boston. And in order to make sure that we entered Boston in a good way and that our ice cream would sell off the shelves, we decided to come out with our first TV ad. The problem, of course, was that we could only afford 10-second ads on late night TV. And here's how the ad went. It was Jerry and myself live in the middle of an oversized ice cream pint container. And it went, "Hi, I'm Ben, I'm Jerry. We may not have the money for a 30-second TV ad, but we sure do make some of the best ice cream you ever tasted." And that was it.
Saying that some people have a particular concept about how success is measured in the world of business, Cohen said he and Greenfield decided to change the way they measure success. He told his audience that it was Harvard Business Review editor Rosebeth Moss Carter who said, "Money is a means, not an end. Detached from values, it may indeed be the root of all evil. Linked effectively to social purpose, it can be the root of opportunity."
And so we knew we were making headway. And there kept on being more and more publicity, giving the Doughboy more and more of a black eye. And eventually, there was so much public pressure put on Pillsbury that they relented and allowed us to continue to distribute our ice cream. Well, a few years later, thank you.
Expanding that Ben & Jerry's has developed a unique brand of innovation to create new ice cream flavors. Cohen said through this culture, the company tries to integrate social concerns into their day-to-day business activities across the different areas in which they do business. As an example, he said Ben & Jerry's Rainforest Crunch ice cream was created to educate people about the need to protect the Amazon's rainforest in Brazil. He disclosed that this flavor of ice cream uses a whole lot of Brazil nuts, which have never been able to be cultivated. Cohen also said Ben & Jerry's have also used the packing of its products to highlight social issues as well. Staff members of the Ministry of People and Social Development are being told to prepare for more fieldwork as Dr. Glenn Ramadasing intends to increase the number of visits to communities through the Direct Impact Initiative.
I am very elated to begin this work here today at the MP's office, and it is because we have covered quite a lot of area. Indeed, for this area, this week alone, we have done 4 walkabouts. Trot, give it up for the team here. 4 walkabouts early in the morning, and we've successfully met a lot of people throughout Trinidad and Tobago. We are fine-tuning our mechanism so that no one will be left behind, that every single issue that comes to us will be attended, and I can promise you that in the coming weeks, we will be out there again in the field.
Minister Ramadasing was speaking outside his constituency office before he embarked on the Direct Impact Walkabout at Limefruit Road, Presal. It was quite a productive day as the minister met several residents who shared their particular stories with him. In the community, there were roads that needed to be fixed, persons with disabilities, residents who required assistance with their living conditions, and other issues that threatened their homes and health. With every issue that was brought to the minister, there was a ministry staff member who was close by to take the residents' information and assure that the issues would be rectified or brought to the relevant agency's attention. The Honourable Minister urged his staff members to prepare themselves for the weeks ahead as he intends to intensify the Direct Impact Initiative and increase the number of communities that are visited by his ministry. Nikolai Edwards, News 4.
Meanwhile, the Direct Effect Walkabouts, which brings closer the people through the social services offered by the government, has attracted the attention of the national community. The Minister of the People and Social Development spoke of its beginning and the direction in which it is aimed.
The Honourable Minister of the People and Social Development has completed yet another Direct Effect Walkabout in central Trinidad. This time, he and his team ventured along Powdari Road, Presal.
Direct Impact was launched at Patna in Diego Martin, where we had a strong turnout of almost more than 250 persons. What is in fact happening here this morning is our continuing Direct Effect Walkabouts. We did in fact translate the Direct Impact in Patna into a walkabout because we had to reach several needy people in the community. And so we did go to homes where roofs were blown away and needed attended to, where there were differently abled persons who were locked in and could not be able to move around.
Dr. Ramadasing recognized early on that there was a need for such an initiative as he spoke about the lack of access to social services under the former structure, where persons had to visit an office to gauge an audience with someone who was in a position to help them.
So many people are left out because of inaccessibility to the MP's office, inaccessibility sometimes to NGOs, and maybe sometimes they're just shut off because of services not reaching them because the services are available in a particular town or a particular center of the village or so that they cannot reach. And this is where the magic of the Direct Impact program comes into play. Because the Direct Effect walkabouts take us with a knock on the door.
The Honourable Minister spoke of what his aims are and that of the government in providing services to the country.
Deconstructing what was a government that was away from the people, and therefore constructing a new dialogue with the people, creating a new conversation with them on the ground, on the level,
in the field.
During the walkabout, the minister visited 2 families where there was a member of the household who was a victim of an extreme circumstance. In both cases, the Honourable Minister assured that more would be done to assist the family in their particular situation. Nikolai Edwards, News 4.
After the break, our sports report. Stay with us. Welcome back. The Ministry of Sport is determined to increase the level of participation in sport and fitness activities, hence its partnership with the Bodybuilders and Fitness Federation of Trinidad and Tobago. Gabriel McTire is a physical education and sport officer at the ministry, and he told us more about this thrust towards a healthier TNT.
The Ministry of Sport continues to develop partnerships which are geared towards participation in sport for all. Physical Education and Sports Officer at the Ministry, Gabriel McTire, told us about one of those partnerships.
The Trinidad and Tobago Bodybuilders Federation is one of the national governing bodies, and the national governing body related to bodybuilding and fitness in Trinidad and Tobago. As a result, all national governing bodies that are affiliated to the Ministry of Sport receive some element of funding during the year, as we call subventions funding, that allows them to be able to take a developmental role in sport, and of course in terms of making sure that opportunities are there for people to show their wares and show what it is they have been doing and training for over the year and years that they have been partaking in their sport.
Exactly what does the ministry bring to the table when it comes to bodybuilding and fitness?
A lot of the work we try to push through the NGBs, national governing bodies that is, but also we have amongst our staff physical education and sport officer ones and sport development officers, whose role it is to have sport and physical activity an essential part of community and community development.
Mr. McTire revealed that the scope of the program is wide-ranging.
We also have coaches that are linked to schools and communities as well, that help to provide programs that allow people the opportunity to be able to develop in their sport and at least recreate somewhat in their sport. And between those 2 elements of the ministry, we do get a lot of programs done in communities, in schools, to ensure that people, as we say, to ensure that total participation in sport, so that people of all ages, of all races, genders, etc., have the opportunities to be able to participate to the fullest, get fit, look good, feel good about themselves, and of course make sure that their health stays in a particular order.
As CEO of CLX Fitness Center and a former bodybuilder himself, Lee Beatrice has a major interest in the fitness of the nation, and he explained why more attention is needed in this area.
Part of it too is our culture. We like to eat and drink and so forth, and sometimes too the choices that we make as a people sometimes is the wrong choice, right? You know, everybody like to eat the doubles and the roti and whatever have you, but sometimes too even become more health conscious in terms of the oil and the greasy foods and so forth. And as you can see, fast chain, those fast food outlets are rapidly increasing because people's lives, they don't have the time to sit down and prepare healthy meals. It's more convenient and efficient and to just run next door and probably get some kind of fried food or something like that. And that is part of it, because people getting caught up in the whole lifestyle and living. They're not getting time to take back and actually assess their dietary needs.
Get on board the train towards a healthier and fitter Trinidad and Tobago. Wayne Cunningham, News 4 Sports.
Up next, TNTech's 47th Annual Sports Day. Stay with us. Thank you for staying with us. State-owned energy provider, the Trinidad and Tobago Electricity Commission, have held its 2013 Annual Sports and Family Day. This marks 47 years since the event was first held to celebrate the employees and their families.
The University of the West Indies Sports and Physical Education Centre was awash with colour as T&Tech hosted its 47th annual Sports and Family Day. Teams representing the company branches from throughout the country, along with retired T&Tech employees, all gathered for a day of fun and excitement. General Manager of the Commission, Kelvin Ramsuk, says the Sports Day encourages employees to demonstrate their commitment to developing an empowered or motivated workforce that promotes trust, respect, and teamwork. His sentiments are echoed by Chairman of the Commission, Mrs. Sushila Ramkissoon Mark. She adds the values promoted at the Sports and Family Day should be replicated in the work environment.
We will use sport to continue to unite this company so we can work uninterruptedly towards bigger and better things. This is also an excellent opportunity to put into practice our values of fairness, respect, and camaraderie, because whatever we do on the field will be translated into our work environment.
Meanwhile, Minister of Public Utilities, the Honorable Nizam Baksh, commends the management of the organization for continuing the tradition. He believes events such as these build staff morale.
T&Tech is hosting this event, is continuing this tradition of celebrating the families of its employees. Like the annual SCA Scholarship Awards and Long Service Awards ceremonies, this event shows the human face of the Commission. I urge the management and Board of Commissioners to continue to proactively seek out ways of securing the physical, mental, and emotional well-being of your staff.
Gregory McBurney, News 4.
And that story brings us to the end of our News 4 report, a product of the Government Information Services Limited and the Ministry of Communications. I'm Joseph Lopez. Thank you for watching.